Hey guys, it's Winterwolf and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a really long time since I've posted. I'm also using my laptop mic. I don't know if that's like good quality enough or not, so I'm sorry if it's not. When you get into the speed build, if it's not good quality, I'll probably record from my phone, which will have better quality. So if you hate this audio, it's not going to be like this forever. But I wanted to look at the lot live with you guys before I got into the speed build. If you want to skip through it, you can look at the timestamp and just skip to the speed build if you prefer that. I'm doing Nard Villain's 2025 Boocrest challenge, and it's been a long time since I've really played a lot in The Sims. I've played a little bit off camera, obviously, because I haven't posted in like a year at this point, or maybe even 2 years. I'm not sure how long it's been since I've posted, but I thought this would be fun, and I love Nard Villain, and the whole like community Boocrest seemed fun. So basically a bunch of simmers are getting a lot in, I think, all of the base game worlds. I'm not sure if he's doing every world or not, I'd have to double check, but they all get one lot and then you have to do something spooky themed, and it's pretty open rules, like you can do whatever you want, just no custom content. So yeah, I got this lot, which is the Slipshod Mesquite, I don't know how you say that, and apparently it's Johnny Zest's lot, which I didn't realize when I selected it that this was Johnny Zest's lot. In complete honesty, this was due on October 20th, and I was planning on starting and finishing it on October 20th, and I never did that. So I'm actually a little bit late right now in doing it, but we're just gonna do it the last minute. I told if I was gonna get it done on the 21st, and I still didn't because I was flying back from vacation and I was too tired to finish it. So anyways, I didn't realize that this was Johnny Zest's slot. My original idea, and the reason why I thought I'd be fine to like finish this in one day, which I think I still am, I'm planning on finishing it, starting and finishing it today, and I don't think that's going to be an issue. But the reason I was okay with it being late is because I was planning on doing an ice cream shop, because I was like, okay, Oasis Springs doesn't really give off spooky vibes very much. It's a desert. So I was like, what can I do that would look spooky-ish in a desert lot? And I was like, what if I did like a spooky themed ice cream shop? And that seemed to fit with the desert idea and be spooky easy enough. But then I didn't realize that this is Johnny Zest's lot, and Johnny Zest is such an important part to The Sims 4 that I'm like, I think I need to find a way to include his lore into it. And if I remember correctly, he's supposed to be like a comedian or something, so maybe this will be like an ice cream shop plus some sort of like live music or comedian area. I don't know yet. I'm gonna have to think about it. I'm not sure how to include Johnny Zest in this. I'll also probably redo the way Johnny Zest looks and everything, because I've never really liked how his character looks. But yeah, so that's my plan. I'm going to do an ice cream shop with some sort of Johnny Zest lore inclusion. I think something with like a community comedy place or comedy club? I don't know. How do I make that spooky? Comedy isn't spooky. I'll have to think about it. I'll have to think about what Johnny Zest would do for Halloween. I also don't know if I'm going to keep this lot the way it looks right now. I kind of want to because I think his lot is pretty cool. I don't remember. Is this supposed to be be based off of like a train or something, or like a car piece or something? I don't know. But I'll figure out something. But yeah, let's get into the speed build. So I lied. We're not getting into the speed build yet. I'm going to explain a little bit about my new idea because it's so different from what I said in that original voiceover. So instead of doing an ice cream shop, I'm instead doing an Alice in Wonderland themed entertainment park called Into the Looking Glass, because I felt like doing some sort of comedy club that's kind of Halloween-y themed or whimsical would be more suitable to Johnny Zest than doing like an ice cream shop. So that being said, I've turned my really simple idea into a very complicated one, and it took a long time to build this. I still got it done in like a day or two, which is kind of insane, but yeah, it's no longer as simple as I thought it was gonna be. So it's based off of mainly these 4 inspiration pictures. I end up making a Mad Hatter's costume shop and comedy / entertainment club, which is inspired by this bottom picture. And then I also make a steampunky coffee shop called the Twisted Teapot, which was inspired by that top right photo, and also the fact that the cupcake machine is so kind of factory and steampunky in style that I kind of wanted to put that in there and then follow that aesthetic. And then the original idea from even making a teapot house came from this Sims build that I saw on Reddit. I don't know who built it. I'll try to put credits in. If they're not there, it'll be in the description box if it's not on this picture. And then the other thing was just like these clocks and these buildings, although none of my buildings end up looking like this. But yeah, so we make a Twisted Teapot tea shop, a Mad Hatter's costume and comedy club, and then I also make a ice cream shop, which is kind of shaped as like a, what's it called? Like it's kind of shaped like a planter pot, and has like mushrooms growing out of it and stuff. And then I also make Johnny Zest's house, which he remains in a trailer. So there's a bunch of lore for how this came to be, which I will get into in the Sims cast video. So if you guys want to hear about the lore, please watch that Sims cast video. Or I might have a short out that's pretty simple. But it's manned by Johnny Zest and his partner, Candy Bear. So I actually make Johnny Zest and Candy Bear a couple, which I don't know if that's controversial or not. I don't really see people ever ship Johnny Zest with anyone in The Sims, and I kind of felt like since they're both up-and-comers in the entertainment world, that it could make sense if they became a couple. So I made them a couple, I come up with a storyline, and you guys are gonna have to watch the cast video for that, but let's get into the speed build for real now. Okay, now we're getting into the speed build, and I'm just kind of setting things up here. I tried to reorganize the footage a little bit because I didn't like how much I was jumping around. So in this beginning, there's a little bit of jumping around, just kind of getting all the, individual pieces set up. But then once we start working on a specific building, we'll largely stay at that building up until I think we're doing like final touches or something. So this is going to be the Mad Hatter's costume shop, and I really didn't know what to do with this or like how to set it up because the picture that I had inspiration from obviously has these like really cool lines where it's like curved at the edge, so it really looks like a Wonky's Mad Hatter building, but you can't do that in The Sims. That's not a thing, so that became a little bit difficult. So I wasn't really sure how to get across like the wonkiness without having those kind of crazy lines. And then here we're looking at the ice cream shop getting kind of set up. I'm pretty sure I didn't delete too much footage because I kind of wanted you guys to see all the different like options that I had. And I think I've changed a lot about this build. I don't remember if I kept the footage in, but I think I did. Because it starts out like being very crisp and clean, and then it becomes very like Enchanted Forest inspired. I don't really know if I did that because of the fact that I barely used that pack, or what came over me to use so much of that pack in here, but it just seemed very whimsical and I don't really use those items. Again, I haven't played The Sims in like a long time, so I really wanted to get those in there. And then now we're setting up the teapot area. It was really hard to make this look like a teapot, and to be honest, I don't think it does. I think without having the like context that it's supposed to be a tea shop, you like probably wouldn't recognize that it's a teapot. But basically I like sized up lights to look like the spout and the handle, and that's kind of the best that I could do. So I hope that's kind of seeable, but I don't know. I really don't know if I like this ice cream shop that much because I don't know. I don't like this wallpaper, but I was like, when am I ever going to get to use this wallpaper, So I did go ahead and use it here. I was like, okay, this is my only opportunity. And the brick flooring actually seemed pretty fitting for like Alice in Wonderland. I don't know, it just looked kind of wonky and outside obviously, so I was like, you know what, I'll use it. I don't know if I don't know, I felt a little bit weird about this, like it feels a little bit out of place, but at the same time I'm like, I wanted to do an ice cream shop originally, and I really wanted to keep like the original essence of Johnny Zest's build, because I was like, oh my god, I'm doing Johnny Zest's lot. I didn't know that I had chosen Johnny Zest's lot originally when I had signed up to do Nardvillain's community challenge. So, and when you get like a townie's place, you gotta, step up your game because it's a townie. I don't know, it just makes it a big deal to me. And I absolutely love taking townies and kind of reinventing them and try to fit them into whatever challenge we're doing. So I don't know, this just turned into so much more. I did this the day after this collab was due, which I know wasn't very good of me. I was unfortunately traveling when this was becoming like doing stuff, and then over vacation I was like, okay, I'll have to make time, but then I didn't make time because I started streaming because Little Nightmares 3 was out, and I was like, oh my god, I have to do Little Nightmares 3. So a lot of my time got spent in other places, so it was late. It's fine because he still got it by the time they did like the tours and stuff, but yeah, the timing was not great. I spent 2 days on this kind of back to back, honestly. I can't remember in total how many hours I spent on this build. I would assume maybe like 10 hours. So it was a lot. And honestly, I feel like it should have taken more time than it did, so I'm not really sure what happened. I must have been like in the zone or something. But anyway, so this is the caterpillar cone ice cream, as I've already said, and I still, like, I don't know if I like this building. Like, I like it, but it felt a bit off. I think the wallpaper really throws me off because I actually don't like this wallpaper that much, but it felt fitting for like Alice in Wonderland to have like this kind of setup. And, you know, honestly, maybe I should have tried adding more greenery or something in there, like adding actual trees or something maybe would have made it look more like it's actually in the forest. Or maybe it should have been an outdoor ice cream parlor. I don't know. I wanted to keep the trailer aspect, obviously, because obviously Johnny Zest has a trailer, and I was like, okay, this is meant to be like a trailer park. So maybe the ice cream was like an early addition to his kind of comedy club, so it still fit that like trailer park idea, and they like didn't have a lot of money, so they like renovated a trailer, and that became like the trailer park ice cream store, and then it kind of grew from there into like the comedy club and the teapot and all that other stuff. I honestly have no idea how Johnny Zest paid for all of this, because in the story he's broke, but I guess he must have had some success in life, and then he also had Candy's help, and Candy moved in here. I have no idea what happened to Yuki in the storyline. I didn't think that far. Poor Yuki's kind of on her own now. I don't know where the heck she went. So maybe Candy sold her grandma's house or something, you know, because she did, like, I think in the Sims, like, story, she just inherited her grandma's, like, old Tudor home. Maybe she sold it to help pay for this place with Johnny. Maybe they were both kind of struggling in comedy, and that's how that kind of came about. I think that probably would make the most sense. The only thing that doesn't is, like, I don't know what the heck happened to her sister then. I kind of thought about it after the fact, and I was like, maybe I should have made a place for her sister. But it's also kind of weird to have, like, if, like, in a real world situation, if you're, like, moving in with your partner, to bring, like, your little sister with you. But at the same time, her little sister is a teenager, so I guess it would have kind of had to happen. Unless this is, like, taking place after Yuki turned, like, 18 and maybe found, like, her own living situation. So I'm not really sure if I should have built the lore on that a little bit better. Maybe I should have made a place for Yuki to stay as well. I don't know. Yeah, she kind of got forgotten and left behind, so oh well. But yeah, so this is supposed to be just like really planty, and I actually changed out those planters in the front later on and I ended up putting pumpkins because I was like, this is not very Halloween themed, and I was kind of worried about that because I was like, knowing Nardvillain, like everything with Nardvillain is so spooky and like horror based, like goofy kind of horror based, and I was like, this isn't like very scary. But whenever I think Halloween, I always think Alice in Wonderland because I love Alice in Wonderland. I played like I think on my variety channel I posted some videos on the like Alice in Wonderland video game. I forget what it's called, and it's like a spooky version of Alice. So I was like, there's so many spooky things about Alice, and you know, not everything in Halloween has to be like terrifying. It can also just be kind of whimsical and stuff. So this is why I kind of leaned towards that. And I was also like, I can't imagine Johnny Zest being spooky scary. So I felt like doing this really just fit him better because he's kind of a wonky person. I think he gives off wonky vibes. So when I saw him and I was like, he looks like he could be the Mad Hatter. Like that's literally what I thought when I thought of Johnny Zest in terms of like a costume. So that's why this ended up being this way. I also really love this teapot. I wish I could think of something better to do for the handle and spout. Like, I feel like there are better options. I also went through, like, a lot of changes with this teapot, because originally it was going to be, like, very earthy and, like, planty and, like, again, like, Alice in Wonderland, whimsical, foresty. And I kind of made, like, a huge turnaround, because I was, like, really inspired by the cupcake. with the cupcake machine that I was like, okay, I need to make this more steampunky. And steampunk is also something that's pretty common in like Alice in Wonderland. I don't think it's common in like the original cartoon. I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time since I've watched the original cartoon, but a lot of like the remakes and a lot of like people that kind of pull different storylines from Alice in Wonderland use like the steampunk aesthetic. So I was like, you know what? We'll kind of build into the different aesthetics that Alice in Wonderland has kind of grown into over the years. So we've got like that more foresty, childlike ice cream shop, and then you move into like this steampunk teapot, and then we have this more like adultish entertainment industry on the right side that's supposed to be more fancy, because whenever I think of the Mad Hatter, I think of more like fancy, luscious, and Alice in Wonderland does kind of give that like very rich aesthetic sometimes, especially when you think about like the Queen of Hearts and stuff. So I know the Mad Hatter is not the Queen of Hearts, but even in the most recent remake by who was it Johnny Depp that played the Mad Hatter, like his house looks very extravagant. So I was like, okay, this works. So yeah, we kind of pull a lot of different aesthetics and stuff, and I don't know. I was a little bit concerned that the fact that these windows were so symmetrical wasn't very Alice in Wonderland-esque, because it's not very wonky if everything's super symmetrical. And oh my god, I can't believe I was originally going to go for this like very pinkish, I don't know, soft, childlike. It just looks so weird to me now when I'm looking back. I'm like, this definitely wasn't the right vibe. And I could kind of tell it wasn't the right vibe when I was doing it, because I was pulling in all these items and I was like, this just doesn't look right. Like, it doesn't look right, but I don't know what else to put. So I'm glad that I figured it out eventually, especially when you have such a time constraint. You don't have the time to let your like creative thoughts bubble. Like, you just gotta spit them out. So I'm glad that my brain thought of this and like changed everything pretty quickly, because it looks so weird right now. This is nowhere near what it looks like in the final stages. I mean, like the wonkiness with all the clocks and the windows and stuff stays the same, but the color scheme is completely different. I mean, everything kind of changes. And this is when you can see me start to like pull into this like darker colors. I'm like, this doesn't look right. This needs to be darker. It needs to be more matching with this cupcake. And we get there eventually. It just takes some time. But yeah, so I'm kind of thinking of doing something like this again, making like an Alice in Wonderland world. What I really want to do is do a little Nightmares inspired world. I know it's past Halloween. I'm also uploading this late, so oops. But yeah, I mean, guys, I'm busy. I don't know. I really want to get back into YouTube and like post more and give you guys content. But I just can't. Like, I don't have time. And a lot of times when I have time to like relax and stuff, but when I'm like relaxing, I don't want to do Sims builds. I want to grind on Valorant and play games with my friends and stuff, and not do Sims. Plus, I don't know, I don't want to say I've grown out of The Sims, because that's such a sad thing to say. Like, I do still come back to it. A while ago, I had like my own playthrough that I was doing, and I love building, but I really don't like that it's such a solitary act. Like, I think I'm very much the kind of person now that wants to game with people, and if there was like a co-op Sims, I would play the co-op Sims, because I would love to build with other people and like actually edit buildings live with your friends, rather than like, okay, I build one side and then I have to upload to the gallery and then they have to go download it and then they'll do it on their own time. Like, that's so boring. And I also can't stream this to anyone. So if I'm building in The Sims, I'm like actually building by myself, because my internet cannot handle streaming. I've learned I can't even stream on Discord. Like, that's how bad it is. If I stream on Discord, my voice lags. The video lags too, but my voice lags. Like, no one can hear me talking if I'm streaming. So I really just have to do this by myself, and I can't share it, which is probably one of the reasons I'm not that big into Sims right now. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll come back here one day. More consistently. I mean, I'm obviously back right now because I'm recording this, but who knows when the next video will ever be. And who knows how long this is going to take to actually get out, because I've been procrastinating on doing this voiceover for almost a week at this point. So, yeah. Although I was sick for like a week as well, so. Yeah. But anyways, you can see that like the aesthetic of this teapot has like completely changed now. Also, if you guys have any ideas of what I should have done for like the spout and the handle, please let me know, because I thought it was kind of cool to do these lights. Like, it felt like it fit with like the steampunk theme, but it also feels like you can't tell that it's a teapot. Like, I don't know, maybe I should have added some sort of like archway at the top so it looks like a handle overhead. I don't know. I just don't know if it gives off teapot vibes. And I tried to like pull out some of this other stuff and like add, you know, just this teapot here is kind of like a way to recognize that this is also supposed to be a teapot. And I think I add desserts and stuff on the floor, which I actually have no idea how that works in The Sims, because I'm very much a builder and I don't playtest my own builds to be, well, I did playtest this mostly. I didn't playtest anything that required me to like find children and bring them on the lot to test, because I'm too lazy for all that. And this lot is built for like literally every age. I mean, you could bring toddlers here, you can bring kids here, you could even bring your infants. Like, I put a changing table and everything. Which, I don't know. I know they update infants. Guys, it's been so long since I've played. Can you take infants out of the house now, or are they still, like, bound to the cradle? I don't know. It's been so long. I don't play The Sims, like, ever. And when I do spend time on The Sims, I usually build. So I'm very much like out of touch with the game recently. But you can bring like all ages here. So I didn't playtest all the ages. I was too lazy to do that. And I was running out of time because, like I said, I built this the day after it was due. And at the time I was like okay with that, because I was planning on just doing like an ice cream shop, like a spooky ice cream shop. And then I was like, oh my god, Johnny Zest, change everything. Have to make it better. Also, when Nardvillain toured this, my ice cream disappeared, which I've never seen before. I'm not sure if that's like always been a thing or if it was just like an accident that got deleted, but my ice cream disappeared and it made me very sad. I'm not even sure if the cupcakes were there. I think all of my food disappeared, which is kind of weird. I don't know, I'll have to watch his VOD back. But also, by the way, guys, Nardvillain is doing tours for this. He's been doing tours for this. Last week he toured Boocrest, which is what I was, or not Boocrest. Oasis Spooks. That's what he called it. Oasis Spooks. So last week he toured Oasis Spooks, and my build he did on Thursday. And next week he's also finishing up Oasis Spooks and then doing, what do they call it? Magnolia Macabre or something. Anyways, he did like all the base game worlds and Magnolia Promenade, I think. So if you guys want to like check that out, and I've actually like posted this on time, it's November 1st right now where I'm doing the voiceover, so to give you like the time reference. If I post this over the weekend, which hopefully I do, you guys still have time to go watch the rest of his tours if you want to see what other people did. It's really cool. It's very different, I think, from what I did. I think a lot of people very much dug into like the traditional Halloween themes of like either horror-based, haunted house. Some people made like normal houses but have some sort of like spooky storyline in the basements and stuff, which was pretty cool. And then other people did like pumpkin patches and things like that. There was one build that I saw on Oasis Spooks that I was really interested in, but I don't remember who did it, but it was like very large and like it seemed like it was all made of glass. I don't know. I have to like go through the gallery and look at some of the people's builds as well. I can't stay there for all of his streams, unfortunately. I mean, they're so long. And I just, like, I'm at school, so I think I might have missed him touring that build, which is unfortunate because I was really interested in that one. I might have to go back and look. But yeah, so you can see I'm adding like a lot of mushroom stuff right now. I wanted to add some mushroom seats so that it's like actually usable. I also added these really cool mushrooms from Enchanted. I don't remember what the pack's called, but the Enchanted pack right here. I think you can see me add it right now, but they don't work, unfortunately. I really wanted it to work, like adding the table and then the chairs under it. I was kind of hoping that the Sims would still be able to access it and play it as if it's a table, but I think the mushroom gets in the way, and I tried doing a couple different things to like work around it, along with like deleting the tables and just putting chairs in front of it, but it looked so weird when the chairs were that far away from the mushrooms in order for them to be able to access the chairs that I was like, never mind, this can be just for the aesthetic. So I'm sorry, those tables don't actually work and the chairs don't work either, unfortunately, but there's other areas to sit in this park, so hopefully you guys aren't too upset about that. You can always change them out if you really want them to be like actual seatings. either by taking just the chairs and then putting them farther away from the mushrooms, or deleting the mushrooms in their entirety and just putting tables. I would use the tables that I use, the enchanted tables, because they do kind of look outdoorsy and mushroomy still, so that was the original reason I picked those tables, and then I changed it up. Here you see me adding like a little toddler, kind of kids toddler play area, and I did this because I was like, when I'm playing The Sims, a lot of times I want to bring my whole family with me so that I can keep an eye on them, but I don't want to actively be playing with them, so I kind of just let them do whatever. So this gives it like a good way where if you want to bring like the whole Sims family and you want to like handle one Sim while the other ones can like find something else to do, this is kind of that area for it. I also added a little secret bathroom in this fake tree that I made, which I thought was pretty creative, even though it looks kind of ugly. Because I was like, okay, well, if you're gonna have toddlers, then you need to have like a toddler bathroom and stuff, so that's why that's there. I have no idea if that changing room is usable, in complete honesty, because I, like I said, did not bring a Sim to like test this. So it might be a little bit too crowded. You might have to like delete the changing table and just have the toddler potty or something. I'm not sure. Or you could add a second tree somehow. Up to you guys. But yeah, so I wanted to just make this little play area where you can just like drop your kids off so that you can go do activities and the kids can like have fun. There's also a splash pad area, which, like I said, did not play test. I think I fixed it to make it work though, because at the time I couldn't like turn the splash pads on. And eventually I figured out how to turn them on. So I just didn't bring a child to actually like test that they can play on it. So that's something I'm not sure about. If it doesn't, I'm assuming it's because the mushrooms are in the way and you can delete the mushrooms or move them around and stuff. So it's fixable. Sorry about like not thoroughly playtesting this. I just didn't have time to. I just playtested everything that I could playtest at Johnny Zest when I had Johnny Zest on the lot. So everything except for like a lot of the kid stuff is playtested. Which also, I feel like it's dumb that adults can't play with kid stuff, because why? Like in real life, an adult can touch kid stuff and like it's, I don't know. Like, would it be that weird if an adult went on a splash pad? I don't think so. So, but I think that's marked as like children only for some reason. So here's where we're doing like the very like expensive looking, theatrical kind of bathrooms, and we do this for the whole build. I was like, when am I ever going to get to use Get Famous stuff and have it look normal? And I was like, this is the time and place. But to me, this isn't like real gold, because Johnny Zest is not that rich yet. So to me, this is like fake gold that's been like, you know, like it's made to look very expensive and stuff, but it's not actually. Obviously The Sims, this stuff is expensive regardless, but just for the storyline, I don't think that Johnny Zest is that rich yet, just to be fair. Unless Candy's like really helped him out, or somehow he's like pleaded to his parents to help him, which I feel like Johnny Zest would never ever ask Nancy Landgrab for help. Maybe Jeffrey would like, you know, slide some money here and there, but not tell Nancy. I feel like that's how that would go. But who knows if Jeffrey's even a nice dude? Like, he seems like a nice dude, but who knows? But yeah, so that's that build. I'm sorry if you guys can hear me sniffling a little bit. Every time I wake up in the morning, I get like sniffles and a cough. But they go away after a couple of hours, and right now it has not gone away yet. So I'm sorry if you guys can hear that. This is supposed to be like the entertainment area. Obviously, if you want your Sims to like just watch a movie, you'll have to like move around the piano and stuff, but I kind of built it as if like either or, like either you're watching a musician, you're watching comedy, or you guys are watching movies. So there's a lot of stuff to do in that one room. And then up here is like the Mad Hatter's costume shop. So I kind of wish that I added more costumes, but it was such a pain to like go through and have to like put outfits on all of the mannequins, and I was like, I don't really want to do more, so that's why I didn't. I also had some like random things. I think most of it's like largely clothing related, like there's jewelry and handbags and clothing racks, and I added a diaper bag for some reason. I think I just took it as like another purse, and I was like, you know what, who cares, it's fine. So there's that. And then I also put some mannequins in this like inside of the counters, because I wanted it to look like, again, Mad Hatters, so a bunch of hats for sale. I have no idea if you can actually buy stuff off of it, given the fact that it's inside of the counters. But it wasn't really meant to be like playable. It was just kind of to give a nod to the fact that you're in the Mad Hatter's building, and he would obviously have like a bunch of hats, which I also kind of wish we had more clutter for hats. Like, I think it'd be a lot more fun if I could have put hats everywhere. Maybe that's too particular because it's like built for this particular build, but I think even just in regular stuff it'd be nice to have more like hat clutter in the game, because right now we really only have baseball caps. But there's other hats in the world, man. Not everybody wears baseball caps, so it'd be nice to get some more hat clutter. I think that would be cool. I also kind of wish The Sims could do this thing where they just like you could pull stuff from CAS and make it into a clutter object. I don't know if that would ever be possible. I really have no idea how any of this stuff like works, but if it was, that would be so cool. Like if you could pull out a hat and like make that into a clutter object, or like a pair of shoes or a bracelet or something. And I don't think it would be like impossible to do, but I'm not a game developer, so I have no idea. But I don't think it'd be impossible. It's probably just not high priority, but it would add a lot of clutter to the game, and I think Simmers would actually really like it if that was a thing. So now we're getting into Johnny Zest build, I think, right here. And at first I was going for green, and I was like, never mind, we're gonna do blue. Guys, don't hate me for this build. I really wanted to go for like this 70s like retro aesthetic, because that's really what I think of when I think of Johnny Zest. It's also a lot more upgraded. His old house was like very messy and looked like very bachelor patty. So this is like cleaner and newer, and I kind of feel like that's because of two things. One, he's with Candy now, and I guess it's kind of following that like stereotype of like when a guy gets a girlfriend, you know, the house becomes like 10 times nicer because she decorates. But also it's just because I think now he's got a little bit more money. Like he's not like paying for scraps and like has this like scrappy furniture anymore. He had time, and like he has the money to actually invest in like what he really likes and his aesthetic. So this was like largely going off of his aesthetic, and I'm kind of leaning towards the concept that like Candy kind of move towards his aesthetic over time. Like she's from Get Together, and that's, I don't really even know what aesthetic Get Together is, because obviously the building is like very Tudor, but like I have no idea what aesthetic those outfits are. But I'm kind of building into the idea that like she also kind of got into like the 70s kind of retro vibes, and so when I made her sim, which you guys can see in a separate video, I'll have it linked at the end, some of her outfits are made for the company, and then some of her outfits are like 70s-esque, whole different aesthetic from what she originally looks like. And same with Johnny as well. I did give him a couple of outfits that were made for the company, and I kind of just kept them as like everyday outfits because I figured you guys can change him into them if you want to. But yeah, so he has outfits for that, and then he also has like some normal outfits. I don't know. I don't really like dressing up male Sims. I struggle a lot with it, so I tried, but it's hard to like, I don't know, I just don't like male Sims clothing, I think, is the problem. So I tried, but I don't know if it's the best thing. But we pull into a lot of the blue because obviously Johnny Zest wears like a blue jacket, so I kind of just pulled that color scheme from him, and then I get into some orange colors because I was like, orange kind of gives like 70s retro vibes along with this sort of tiling aesthetic. And then yeah, I just tried. I googled things and I was like, okay, let's do this, but I didn't want to make it like ugly 70s, so it's kind of like better. It's like updated 70s. Like it's meant to be more aesthetic than it is to be like hardcore, like red flooring, orange furniture and all that. So it's inspired by, and I think you can tell it's like inspired by, but it's not like ugly in the way I think a lot of 70s retro builds are. And then same for this bedroom. I really wanted to use this flooring and I kind of gave up on it. I think like it just, I couldn't do it. Like I wanted to do this like really ugly color scheme, but I just couldn't, man. I couldn't commit to the bit of doing this like blue and orange. It wasn't happening. I tried so hard, and I was like, you know what else is 70s retro? Green, and I love green, so I kind of made the bedroom a lot more calming. It still has kind of some 70s retro things in it, but it's not ugly. Again, it's like modernized, so it pulls from it. It's not completely engulfed in it, and I think you can tell. But I think the room looks really nice. It's a lot cleaner. I just felt like this bedroom looked like it should be cleaner. When I did like everything, I was like, I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it with clutter. So I didn't. I left it as is, which, I don't know. I guess that's kind of a choice because some simmers are like very much into clutter and like having everything super messy. Not messy in like a bad way, but just like messy in terms of like having everything, like every single corner, room, wall is covered. And some are a lot more minimalistic, and I felt like being a little bit more minimalistic for this build. Especially in this room because it just turned out so nicely to me. I was like, I can't ruin it by adding a bunch of clutter everywhere. So yeah. And you can see that I did like the floor tiles where I like changed the direction because I read that that was like a thing. I don't remember what it was called specifically, but I read that having this kind of design was like a thing in the 70s, so I did that. And yeah, I mean, that's really all I have to say for this build, I think. Well, not for the build, but for this part of the build. I should probably take a second to pause this so that I make sure the video like actually recorded. Okay, I checked. The recording is fine. I was like, imagine I've just been talking for like 40 minutes straight and the recording's not actually recording or the audio's fucked up. That'd be so sad. I also added his like sad clown painting. I kind of forgot about it at the moment, but I added it because it was in his original build. And I was like, you know what? I'll give him a little nod to something that was in his house originally. So we put the sad clown painting, which I don't really know why they ever gave him that painting, but it's there. And I was like, you know what? We'll go with it. Maybe it's like a nod to his formerly terrible comedy career that's now turning into something a lot better, hopefully. But yeah, so I added that. And what else is there? Should I like talk about myself for a while? I'm almost done with my undergrad. I was supposed to have finished this year, but unfortunately, I got pneumonia and I was sick for a while, honestly, actually. I was sick for a while, and so because of that, I was too behind in my classes to finish them. I had to finish them over this semester. Well, technically, I could have finished them over summer, but it was a lot of work, and I was so burned out that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take this a little bit slower and kind of get this stuff all done. Like, it's just so much work, and I was sick, and I was like, I also got sick over summer. I have bad luck, bro. I just get sick constantly. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna work on them. Like, I worked on them over the summer, and then I also worked on them during the school year. And I'm almost done now, and then once I do that, I'm probably, I don't know, I'm accepted into the master's program, and so I'm thinking about doing my master's. Well, I'm like set up to do my master's right now, but I've also been getting some like recruiter emails about some jobs where I live, so I've been thinking about doing that too. I've kind of had like the dream of doing MD PhD for a long time. But I feel old, man. Like, I feel like I'm, like, passing my time to do MD, PhD. Or at least to do MD and PhD. Like, I should probably just do one or the other. I don't know. I could do both, but I don't know. I'm weighing out my options here, trying to decide what I want to do, I guess. So that's what's been going on in my life. I'm, like, looking at jobs and then also planning out a master's if I want to do my master's. After I do my master's, I'll probably reapply for a PhD program. Or maybe I'm at like either a med school or PhD program. I guess it kind of depends on when I get my pre-med, like prereqs done. Because I have not done those. I've done some of them, but I haven't finished them. So if I did that, I would probably have to take them during my master's, or maybe take some summer courses to get them done. I'm not sure. Not really sure what would be best yet. I actually probably should talk to my pre-med advisor to talk to her and see like what would be best here, because I've heard that taking summer classes like is frowned upon, or like they look at it poorly in comparison to taking like actual classes, but I really don't know why, because summer classes are a lot more difficult in my opinion. You're getting to do like all of the material but in way less time, so I don't really know why they would care whether they're summer or not. but oh well. I guess I'll have to figure that out soon. I should probably actually do that now. But yeah. So I also had fake grass everywhere, just to get back to the build for a second. I didn't know whether I should because this is supposed to be built in a desert, but I was like, it makes sense because a lot of the lots have fake grass, so I kind of spray painted on what, like, this color of grass that I felt looked more like fake grass than real grass. And then I added the, like, pink path, which I felt was pretty fitting for an Alice in Wonderland themed build. So yeah, the other option was like continuing on with the black and white kind of chess piece look. But I thought that like that just being on the floor by itself would look kind of weird, so I didn't go with that concept. Plus I wanted this to look a little bit more lush, even though we're in a desert. And then I put the kiosks in this like random building right here because I think they'll break if I just left them outside without any cover. So I kind of just like built something, and then I used that as an opportunity to create like a sign for the building, or for the, you know, business and stuff. I also find it really weird that you can't transfer businesses in the gallery. Like, I really wish they would sit and update the gallery at some point. Why is my screen black? Oh, because the video is done. Okay, well that's awkward. I just started ranting about something, it didn't matter. Okay, we're at the end of the video. I thought this video was longer, but I think it's because I have some random footage at the end that's not gonna be used. So yeah, I really hope you guys liked this build. You're gonna get into like screenshots here in a second, and it was really fun doing a video. I haven't done one in a while. Maybe you'll see more content from me. Keep an eye out for the Sims video that goes along with this build as well, because I will do that. And yeah, it's been so nice to talk to you guys for like, I don't know how long it's been, at least 2 years, probably 3 years. And yeah, I hope I post soon, and tell me about your guys' lives if you have any updates and things like that, or if you have questions for me and we want to do like an update, like Q&A type video for a building, like while I do a speed build, we could do that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!